Avi Lewis, 39,734 votes. 39,734 votes. Please welcome the new leader of Canada's NDP, le nouveau chef du NPD, Avi Lewis.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Folks, this is a tremendous result, but even more important than the results of this leadership vote is the unity in our party. Friends, if it isn't already obvious, we are building a new foundation for our party, and we are ready to come roaring back on the Canadian political stage. After 7 months of campaigning across this country and speaking to thousands upon thousands of Canadians, here's one thing I know for sure, and I want to say it out loud. Canada, mark your calendar. The NDP comeback starts now. The NDP will start winning again because we will become that beacon to the 99%. Illuminating the darkening sky of these terrifying times with the energizing light of collective struggle. This is about all of us coming together to find our place and our power in the thrilling work of building a shared future, a government that works for the many, not the money. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Now it's time to talk about Avi Lewis. Let's talk about Avi. And obviously I want to be careful here because I think, Avi Lewis is a more complicated figure than either his supporters or his critics, including myself, tend to allow. He's not a fraud in the simple sense. He does have a track record of support for the Palestinian cause. BDS support is real and documented. He's got, a history of anti-Zionist Jewish identity, which is very real. The Leap was a real project, and it did real things. And I'm not here to dismiss any of that. But there's a record, and that record matters. And the record specifically matters right now in this current moment because Lewis is the person who is going to define what arguments are thinkable inside the NDP going forward. And that's the actual stakes of a leadership race. It's not the platforms. Platforms are downstream of a leader. The leader decides what's sayable. And that makes Lewis's record in this specific moment of pressure the most relevant data that we have. So if you go back to just 3 days after October 7th, on October 11th, 2023, 3 days after Al-Aqsa flood, 3 days after that, Avi Lewis, still in the early days, 3 days in, and Avi Lewis posted a thread on Twitter accusing, quote, some sectors of the left of callously celebrating vengeance against Israel, playing right into the hands of right-wing Zionists and others who weaponize anti-Semitism. 3 days. The solidarity movement is just beginning to figure out how to respond to what is unfolding, and Avi Lewis's first public intervention aimed not at the genocide beginning to take shape, but at the left's response to October 7th, framing solidarity expression not violence, but solidarity expression as a gift to the right and a vector for anti-Semitism. And that is not, the record of a man who is an ally to the Palestinian cause. This is the record of someone who first political instinct at the precise moment when the moment most needed cover and support was to police that cover and support, to distance himself from it, to invoke anti-Semitism as a charge, not against Israel's defenders, but against the protesters. That is a gatekeeper move, and it was made from inside the movement's own institutional space. Then, just a few months later, a protest of former BC NDP cabinet minister Selena Robinson, who had publicly described Gaza as, quote, a piece of land that was pretty much empty before October 7th. There was a mass protest outside of her, well, not a mass protest, a large gathering of a protest outside of her office. Avi Lewis tweets out calling it childish and gross. He warned journalists not to cover it and suggested that it was intended to, quote, discredit the movement. And Eve Angler responded publicly the next day, noting that the protest was, in fact, quite respectful. And he asked Avi directly if there was going to be an apology, and an apology never came. And of course, that's where we see who Avi Lewis is, or more precisely, who he isn't. And when Eve Angler was excluded from the leadership race, he was the only leadership candidate who went on the record to effectively justify his exclusion. And I know people are going to say, like, look, again, Avi has a BDS position. He's the best option available. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. And I hear that. I genuinely hear that. But the thing about all of this is that, like, Lewis's grandfather, David Lewis, and his father that he mentioned, Stephen Lewis, are the ones who expelled the leftist waffle from the NDP in 1972. And Avi Lewis cites them in his legacy regularly. He has never distanced himself from that expulsion. And the family business, historically, structurally, over 3 generations within this political party, has been containing the left inside of the party, doing it with being left sounding, using left sounding language, making it palatable for progressives, while ensuring that the actual parameters of the debate remain safe for the party's institutional interests. And I'm not saying that this is a conscious action. I'm saying that the pattern is there, and it's worth naming, because if the fear is that the left is going to cost Avi Lewis something concrete, like as if the solidarity movement needs a PR, like it needs PR, and not just like the righteousness of being on the right side of history. And when like an anti-imperialist candidate needs defending from the party that's trying to remove him from the race and completely, the machine moves against its own left flank. And Avi Lewis is the perfect person to lead that type of movement against the left. And he's consistently chosen institutional, like he's been on the side of institution every time. That's the record when it matters the most. It's just been pretty clear again. Yeah. So what does this all add up to? And I want to be honest here, because I know I could sound like a real bummer right now, and I don't want to do that. Not because I don't want to also manufacture hope where there isn't any, because I don't think there is any, especially not here in this avenue. If anything, the hope is that people see just what this party has become, and how it's essentially just become the DSA, the DNC. It's not actually, it's just careerist politicians, careerist political advisors, careerist labor aristocracy, union figures, the fat cats, the Dick and Bonzen. That's what they are. That's what they are. And as I said at the very beginning, the most dangerous thing in a collapsing system isn't the enemy in front of you. It's the managed opposition standing right beside you, telling you that it has your back. And that's where we're at right now with this NDP. And it sounds cynical, but it's true. And we've been fooled before, and I'm not going to be fooled again. Watch how quick, like they flew the flag of Palestine on the stage as Avi was elected as the leader of this political party. Watch how fast they abandon that symbol. Watch how fast they abandon that movement, because it will be abandoned very quickly.